Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's Rebecca Reads. And before we get started, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below if you'd like to be notified every time we have a new book that we're reading. All right, and I'm very excited to tell you about today's book. It's called This Is My Room, No Tigers Allowed. It's written by Jennifer Richard Jacobson and illustrated by Alexandria Neonakis. Okay, here we go. Let's get reading. Tonight, I'm going to sleep in my own room in my very own bed, Jojo said. You'll be back, said Margaret. No, I won't, said Jojo. She skipped across the hall. Jojo had just crawled under the covers, turned off the light, and stretched her toes from corner to corner in her very own bed when a lion slipped out from behind the window curtain. She could see the shadow of his mane on the wall. She could hear the tuft of his tail thump, thump, thumping against the baseboard. She sat up quick and turned on the light. The lion hid. Jojo ran into Margaret's room. Back so soon? Asked Margaret. I'm not back. It's just that there's a lion in my room. Well then, said Margaret, you need to make a sign. Margaret helped Jojo find paper, a yellow marker, and flowered duct tape. Put them away when you come back, said Margaret. I won't be back, thought Jojo. Jojo wrote, No lions allowed. She taped the sign above her bed, crawled under the covers, and waited. The lion, who no doubt read the sign, did not return. But then, what do you think's gonna happen? Let's see. Jojo heard a bear. Its claws scratched across the floor. She thought she smelled meatballs on its breath. She ever so slowly leaned over and clicked on her light. The bear hid. Jojo jumped out of bed and raced into Margaret's room. I see you're back again, Margaret said. Now it's a bear, said Jojo, who was not back. I need a brown marker. She found the marker, mustered her courage, and stomped loudly across the hall, in case any bears were listening. Jojo stood on her bed and wrote, No bears allowed. The bear, having no doubt read the updated sign, did not return. But then a tiger crawled out of her closet, tripping over her shoes. His nose twitched. He licked his lips. Jojo held her breath and once again clicked on her light. The tiger hid. I just need an orange marker, said Jojo, sprinting into the room. She found it before Margaret could say anything about her being back. Jojo stood up on her bed and wrote, No tigers allowed. There, she shouted. She wanted that tiger to know that in her room, she was the boss. But when Jojo turned off her light, the tiger slipped out from the closet again. Jojo slapped her hands over her eyes. Again, Jojo turned on the light, but this time the tiger didn't bother to hide. Jojo looked at the tiger. The tiger looked at her. She looked at the tiger. The tiger looked at her. Jojo thought of Margaret snug in her bed in their old room, which was tiger-free. But Jojo was not going back. She stood up on her bed, pointed to her sign, and shouted, "This is my room! Can't you read?" The tiger squinted at the sign. He shook his head back and forth, back and forth. He made a sad tiger face. Jojo paused. She pointed to the letters. "It says here, no tigers allowed." But the tiger padded closer and closer still. He reached out a paw. Jojo covered her eyes again. "Is this my letter?" he asked. "Yes," said Jojo, peering out. "That's T for tiger." Tiger smiled. "What's this letter?" he asked, pointing to N. "That's N for—" Jojo stopped. She sighed. "I'll show you from the beginning." Jojo pulled out her very own alphabet book from her very own bookshelf and read to Tiger. But the moon was high in the sky. They only got to Tiger's G. The next day, Jojo changed the sign in her very own room above her very own bed. It read, "Readers allowed." She was glad she did. And look, there's the lion, the bear, and the tiger. And they're all learning how to read with Jojo. The end. Ah, what a great story. I love that it started out, and I thought that, like Jojo, we were going to be so scared of the lion and the bear and the tiger, but it turns out that they were really friendly and they just wanted to learn what Jojo had written. And how special to have a sign written just for them on her wall. So I guess it goes to show us that sometimes things can be really scary and we might get scared of the dark or scared of things that are hiding somewhere in our room. But what if they're actually really friendly and they just want to have fun and be our friends? Alrighty, well, we did it. We read another book this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to stop by next week when we read another one. Thanks for stopping by to read a book. I'm so glad that you came to take a look. Reading can be fun, it helps us to explore. We use imagination and so much more. I had so much fun getting to learn with you. See you next time when we read something new. Bye everybody, see you next week.